James McGee.
What's up?
Okay.
I don't know. I hear you're pretty good.
Well, so what?
That's what.
That's a good thing.
Oh.
Over the years, I've seen pool players from below average to great break pool cues in half, throw cue balls across the room, scream at Whitey, that's a common one, scream at other pool balls, scream at the pool table, scream at their pool cues, scream at barmaids, start fights, punch holes in walls. I've seen it. I've seen them do it all, and every time I see it, it's like, what? They think they're somehow privileged, you know, that they should be great pool players because they try real hard. So, you want to be a pool player, huh? Here's what you gotta do. You gotta take the little finger and point it at the person in the mirror. That's step number one. As painful as it is, yep, you have to realize it's not your cue. If your cue is straight, you know. I mean, I guarantee you, Shane Van Boning can go into Walmart right now and buy the lowest version of a Minnesota Fats pool cue and get on a table and start running out with it. So, there you go. No black shift is going to make you a master. Speaking of masters. Yes, no, usually, you know, if you've been around the block a little bit, your basics are right, and, you know how to play the game a little bit. The reason you're missing, usually, not always, but most of the time, it's your stroke. And that's part of the problem with pool players. They don't know what's wrong. Listen to me, guys. I know what I'm talking about. It's usually your stroke. Yeah, very, very often. Most often, it is your stroke. If your basics are relatively right, if you're comfortable on the table, if you can have a straight stroke with what you're doing, it's most often your stroke. So that should be, instead of wasting your time trying to fix one of the 1 billion basics, you should look at your stroke first. So how can you tell if your stroke is straight without a video camera? Well, I can tell you, if there's any great pool players in the room watching you, they can see it a mile away. But that guy's not going to help you, and the reason he's not going to help you is because he don't like you, and the reason he doesn't like you is because you're acting like a little wuss. In fact, nobody likes that whiner, so don't be that whiner. I've learned over the years that even when they do see themselves on video camera, they still can't pick it up. I don't know if they're watching other things or what they're doing. I can tell you this, you can do everything in pool absolutely perfect. If your stroke is not straight, you're going to suck. That's all there is to it. And even, once it's developed, you have to maintain it too. And you can get to a certain point, but number one, you're never going to be consistent. And number two, you're just never going to be a good pool player. You're probably going to get to the point where you're a little above average, and that's it. You're going to hit a brick wall. So I'm going to show you a couple examples of my stroke going to help because I wasn't maintaining it. And this happens, I forget to maintain it. For the few of you who do have a straight stroke and you work hard on maintaining it, when you guys make a mistake, it's almost always a mental error. There's times that a pool ball will skid on the table, and that's just not your fault. But usually, most often, you're making mental errors, which include like lack of concentration or being distracted or being too hard on yourself because you're not perfect and things like that. Your first guess would be a guess, and it would be wrong, and you're apt to say, well, I just misaimed it, I got down too fast, my grip hand is too far up, all these things, and it would all be wrong. So now, instead of guessing, we're going to go back and take a real good look at why I missed this shot. Let's forget all about the 7-ball and just focus as hard as you can on the tip of my cue. Just watch the tip. The whole reason we miss this is because we're automatically focusing on the 7-ball and seeing if we made the 7-ball, so we don't even know we're doing it. So now we're going to go back a little bit more, and I'm going to show you where that wobble is born in this one single stroke. Do you see the clean part of this shaft? The part of the shaft all the way in the back where it's clean and there's no chalk on it? That's what I want you to pay attention to, and pay attention to it relative to my arm. Now, a seasoned pool player can see this from across a crowded room, but amateurs will never ever see because they don't know what to look for. That drop in my elbow is what's causing that wobble at the end of the stroke. And this whole night, I played way below my potential. And I knew it was my stroke. I just, didn't bother with it and didn't pay much attention to it. It has to be maintained once you do have a good stroke. And that's what I was neglecting to do. Yeah, here's a game filled with concentration errors and just not getting my head in it because I wasn't playing good. And the reason I wasn't playing good was because of a bad stroke. So you see I went way too long on this shot and should have never came anywhere near the 6-ball, but I do. And yeah, we know how you feel, Johnny. And now I have to go around the world to get on the 3 just because I can't see the whole 2-ball right here. And that's taking a big risk on hitting other balls, which I do right there on the 7. And as we change to the next video, you're going to see it was a whole different night, and I changed shirts. And in the next video, I did play good. And this video wound up here because it's part of what's left over in 2021 when I was going for that elusive 7-pack with the brakes and all. And while this looks like good position, think about this. If you go behind the 8 ball, you're taking a risk of scratching. If you go between the 9 and the 8, and you go too long, like I do right here, you're going to be in big trouble because you weren't perfect. So the right thing to do with that 5 ball shot was come down below the 6 ball and shoot down the long route, and you would have been perfect on the 7. So I wound up making the 9, which was nothing but luck there. So yeah, here's a 2021 leftover. And I was playing good, my stroke was working, everything was working except my break, so I just couldn't put that 7 pack together. I wish I had. I really wanted to give it to you guys in 2021 by the end of the year. But I didn't, and I can see my stroke is good, my confidence is, everything's good. Everything was working except my break, which was really a downer. You know, I wasn't throwing stuff around the pool room, but I wasn't digging it. And that's when I decided that I had to get back to work on my break. And I was working on it very hard throughout October and November. And then in December, you know, I just said, okay, that's enough. But it wasn't enough. Just like your stroke, the break has to be maintained. That's the right way to play that route shot. That's a little bit steep on the 7 ball, but it shouldn't be a problem. And, you know, when I'm playing bad, my stroke is off or whatever is going on, I can still beat the local guys, but that's not my goal. I want to beat Jason Shaw, and I don't want to just beat him. I want to make him cry. And I want to beat Josh Filler, too, and I want to beat Shane, and I want to beat Skyler, and I want to beat... I don't want to make Skyler cry, but I want to make Jason cry. So the reason I put that run out in is because I wanted you to see the difference between that and the white sweater night. Yeah, I will never wear this sweater again. And let's see what happens here. I'm not quite sure I remember this. In fact, I don't. This was a long time ago. And again, it's a leftover from 2021 because I didn't know where to put it. You know, I was just playing dreadful all night long. Yeah, I went home this night thinking, why do I even bother? You know, why does anyone stay on the pool table when you're not playing with? I think it's just, we think it's going to go away, but it doesn't. Look how long I went on that 6 ball. That's bad concentration right there. But look at this. Watch this shot. And how do you get out of this? How do you get back? How do you make the 6 and get back on the 7? Yeah. Look at this desperation in action. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Try that one while you're in a hot match. Yeah. Now look at this. The nightmare does not end. Yeah, I left half pocket for that 8 ball, which is great. You know, at least you have a damn pocket. You're in shape. Barely next to 9 ball, okay? So, yeah, you have to cut this. You don't bank this, not on the 9. You have to cut this down in the corner. But the nightmare continues. What a night. And I'm going to publish more from this white sweater night because I know you guys love to watch me suffer. No, that's not it. By the list video clip, I'll give you the heads up when it comes up. You can see me pulling it all together at the end, and my stroke is coming back, my concentration. I finally pinpointed it as my stroke, so I worked on a little bit off the table, and the same night I came back and was playing a little bit better. Not this game. Yeah, you can tell I'm starting to give up at this point. The next game, you'll see. Although I played... No, it says, see his 3-ball shot? I wind up going way too long, and that's a result, again, from lack of concentration and just kind of cutting the cue ball loose. Look how long. Oh, there's so many ways to get on that 4-ball, and I just went way long and just like, to hell with it. But this ain't over yet. I come back here, and like I said, I pulled it all together and started playing good. The problem was they were getting ready to close, and it was too late. I had to pack it up and go. So after that embarrassing mayhem, I took my game off the table and went to the snooker table and worked on nothing but my stroke and getting it back to right. And then you'll see me come back here. And you can tell I'm fighting it a little bit, but you can also tell it's a lot better. So my confidence was coming back and my concentration was coming back. The key to your stroke is to look at where your tip is ending up. Not just when you hit the cue ball, but long after, right as you're about to stand up. Find out. Let's see, that's a good example right there. That was just staring at it like a dumbass. Don't ever use body English. It doesn't work, number one. And number two, it's a telltale sign of a bad player. But my stroke is actually looking really good here. You want to know by that shot before the last one. Right there, you can. I get a little bit bad on the 7-ball. I do recover. You can see me struggling on the 9-ball before the 9-ball shot. And I got down on it a couple times before, I told myself to remember to keep my stroke straight and stay down and you can do this. And it's all about self-talk and confidence. So I go 2 rows on this 7-ball shot to get back on the 8. And although I got a little bit long, it's absolutely no problem to get right on the 9-ball, and in this case, to get straight in on the 9-ball. Although I have some distance here, and this makes a lot of players gun shy, straight in shots at this distance are never easy. And here's where you can see me fighting it. I'm trying to remind myself to get this right. And that's a good thing to do, is just walk away for a second and regroup your brain. There's a great stroke there. And like I said, they were getting ready to close and it's time to pack it up, but at least I ended that miserable night with something good.